Hello everyone, this is Natsumi, and I want to fill you all in on a bug that I have found within Warframe. This video will be split into 3 parts. Part 1 is the part where I show off how to do it. Part 2 is where I describe how I think it works. Part 3 is where I do it on Geyer, to create skirtless Geyer. And finally, part 4 is just my original discovery of the thing. Part 1, how to do the bug. So, for this bug to work, you're going to need a base frame and their prime. As you can see, I have both Gauss prime and base Gauss. You're also going to need a Tenogen skin or an immortal skin. Why do you need a Tenogen skin? Well, you need a Tenogen skin for one specific reason. When you go to a Prime Warframe, and you equip said Tenogen skin, you get this little button right here. Toggle Prime Details. It basically adds the Prime. Now, warning, this will only work on a few frames with drastic differences. So if you notice between base and Prime Gauss, there's completely different models for every one of his flaps and for Redline. Like, completely different models. This is where this comes into play. Even the skirt, which is physics objects. Physics objects will also be affected like this, so you could probably remove Geyer's skirt. So what you're going to want to do is just come up with like a fun skin, or you can do more of the customization later, and you're going to toggle Prime Details. Then you're going to hit this button, link the look in chat, press enter. Then you need to go to the base frame. You're going to go to base Gauss, and then go back to your image and hit apply look on base Gauss. Hit override, and then you will see that there it is. You have bugged Gauss. Part 2, the technical stuff. So what is happening here is it's trying to replace all of the... So the skin is still telling itself that it has prime details on. However, it can't have prime details since it's a base frame. So it ends up just deleting all the prime details that should be here. So anything that prime details replaces doesn't add to, because if we go back to Gauss Prime, you'll notice, pretty crucially, that between prime details and not prime details, why doesn't it remove the shoulders? That's because it's adding a model on top of the pre-existing model rather than full-on replacing it. It's just adding on top of. Same for right here on the chest. That's just a new piece that's being added. So it's taking all of these parts, adding them, but realizing, hey, wait, this skin can't have those, so it deletes them. But it doesn't try to re-add the base parts, therefore giving you a bugged frame. And you can do whatever you want fashion-wise with this thing. You can go fucking crazy. It looks weird. And it's very technical. I'm pretty sure this will only work with physics objects. Part 3, skirtless Geyer. Now, we're going to test this live with a Warframe I haven't tested this with before, Geyer Prime. So I still have my base Geyer that I've had for a while. I still have my base Geyer lying around, and I forgot to subsume it when I got Prime Geyer. So that will allow us to test it right now. So we've got a Tenogen skin. We're going to hit Prime Details. Then we're going to link this look in the chat. Make sure it's the right look. Yep, has the Prime Details and everything. Then we're going to go back to base Geyer, who's sitting right down here. Then we're going to go here, apply look. Go ahead and just go config C. Override, and if we go to config C, we have created Skirtless Geyer. It's actually really cute. I actually really like this. Because since the skirt is a physics object, it has to remove that physics object from the base to the prime has to be entirely replaced. Otherwise, there would be complications with the physics object. So, since that physics object is supposed to be primed, but can't be primed, it just deletes it, resulting in what you see before your eyes right now. Now, I hope you enjoy this very, very strange bug. You can end it here right now. You can find me at this username, this place on Twitch. I stream there every weekday. And the footage I'm about to show is just my first kind of finding of it. And all of my thoughts in the beginning. So, do with that what you will. Have a great rest of your day. Now on to the next footage. Part 4, the original discovery. Why, hello there. I have to be the first person to, this is my fucking stream out. Okay. I have to be the first one to, document this, I guess? I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently, fun fact, I think I'm gonna be the first person documenting this, like, ever. So, this is going to YouTube. Hi, YouTube. As far as I know, this can work with any Tenogen, but the Warframe definitely needs to have a prime. You've probably noticed it by now if you're very Warframe adept. My Gauss looks a little wrong. Just a little wrong. I'll explain it in more detail when I'm outside of here. But essentially, what has happened is, I have a habit of, when I get the base frame for a prem that I already have, I just copy the style over, level it up, put it to the helmet. And my Gauss famously uses a Tenogen skin, plus prime details. And it turns out that, apparently, if you then copy that skin via the link in chat way, and then put it onto a base Gauss, since it still has that prime details checked, but it's not a prime Warframe, so it can't have those, it acts like it has them, but removes any prime details. So essentially anything that would be prime, so any part of this Warframe that would be replaced with the prime variant, or the gildedness, is just not here. So where this would normally happen with this skin is you just turn off prime details, you get the base skin with Gauss's base stuff. But when they take a Warframe and give it a prime Warframe, they still use the base Warframe as a base and build off of it. Replace some parts of it with more gilded and fun versions. Essentially all those gilded replacements have just been deleted off the model, resulting in, at least in Gauss's case, because he has a lot of prime flaps and folds, it results in slim Gauss. And it looks so wrong. You can see I have none of my flaps, because those preps are technically supposed to be primed, but I shouldn't have access to that. We're gonna do one more conduit, and then I'll show you in the actual thing. I kinda don't want to get rid of Gauss just because of this, but I'm gonna put him to the wall regardless. But this is a really neat find, and tell me what Warframes you think could be very interesting in this way. Because obviously Gauss has a lot of parts that move and flap, and all those had to be gilded and look great. So there's a lot of differences between base Gauss and Gauss Prime. Tell me in the comments, what Warframe do you think would have the most differences between the base frame and the prime frame? This does not include the helmet, because you just can't use the Prime helmet. That's why I'm using this helmet. Um, yeah, let me know, and maybe try them out if I can get my hands on the base frame. And I also would need a talented skin or a mortal skin. Any skin that can have Prime details. Which is a little funky because that means you have to spend actual money. You have to spend money on the game to actually even... No, you don't. Never mind, because the immortal skins. Just remember, the immortal skins, they can have Prime details. But those are only a select few workers. So if you want to do this bug and have one of the funkiest and most unique Gausses running around in the game, you can't be a Gauss Prime though. But if you want to have one of the most unique Gausses in the game, you're gonna have to spend at least what is it, $5, $6, $2? I don't remember what the price is. Because Gauss doesn't have a mortal skin, but it's very interesting to look at. It looks so wrong. He doesn't have his like skirt-esque thing. It's very weird. And there's a lot of just strange things about it. Like everything else is functioning fine. It's just that anything that's primed on him has been removed. I don't want to go to the conduit. I will definitely be next rank Gauss. And then a wall after we fuck around for a little. Mess with some colors, mess with some other stuff. It's a very interesting find, and I hope I'm the first person to actually document this.
Hunter,
Pardon me, I'm
running out
sick.
of time. Enter the data conduit.
But I can't think of any Warframes that I have content for that I also have a Prime and a base right now that I could do this with, because I have a Protea and I just got base Protea and I have Prime Protea, but I don't even use a Tendron skin on there, so I don't have one. But let's mess around with Gauss in the... And this applies everywhere. In missions, it looks so wrong, doesn't it?
Into the weirdest of places in here.
You could use any of these with just slim Gauss. It's so weird. So, for context, here's the exact look that I copied. There's my Gauss Prime. Look at him in all of his glory. And all I did was go link it into the chat and applied look to a base Gauss. And it resulted in this. Technically, I'm wrong. It resulted in this. But I replaced the helmet with this. That looks better. Let's just find some really... Let's just go with some white. Just go with a basic gold, not an orange gold. Keep that one as black. Make that one also white. And stop jittering about. You could really see how kind of weird this is versus how this is just supposed to look. There's the Profita skin. Same skin, just without literally all this stuff. So we're missing those flaps there, we're missing these, we're missing that, we're missing his entire little thing, tailcoat-esque thing. We're missing this thing right here. So we have, oh, I didn't know he had such a weird butt. We don't have the arm jitters. Those are gone. There's a lot of stuff that we just don't have. We don't even have knee plates. I think that's about it. It's so weird though. Oh yeah, we also don't have the part that vaguely goes over that, because if you look, there's this part right here which we don't have. There's a lot of parts on his arms, which results in this oddly slim arm. It's so weird. If I de-equip it, no, because it's still set to prime details. It's just so weird. It looks so wrong. me just disable my Doppling and my Vanda just so you can get a better look at it. It's so strange seeing how this Warframe works underneath the parts that you're used to seeing. And in theory, this could very easily work with, I just want to just to show you Gauss. That's Gauss Prime. Apply look, Gauss. Override, just to prove to you that this is what I had done, and boom, still Slim Gauss. It doesn't matter what I do, I can load into any area and I have Slim Gauss. It's so weird. One of the things that's immediately coming to my mind is that you could do this with can you do this with Excalibur? Umbra. Remove all the Umbra details. The only problem with the Umbra details is that they don't really change much from base. They don't really... They just add. They don't really replace anything. So it won't result in anything cool with Umbra. You really have to think what Warframe's full-on replace pieces. Like, let's, what is this in ours? What is this in ours? Let's reset to defaults. And let's grab space in ours. So, already, I think his arm right here is replaced. Different model. Different model here. It's a little bit thicker, maybe. Definitely different knee models. Definitely removes this. It's just a lot of thinking. This could be really interesting with certain Warframes. Gara. I could have Sulfur Oliver. Base Gara actually changes quite a lot, so she won't have this skirt, she won't have these. I don't know how. I think she will be shoulderless. I don't know if it's a special case with just Gauss though, because as I said, there's a lot of, like, they only have one Hydrogen skin and I don't use it. Why would I use it? I like Gara Prime. Maybe Protea. Because Protea, I use this, but do I have one? No, I have neither. And she doesn't have an immortal skin. So it's definitely something you kind of just gotta experiment with. One of the things that makes me think Gauss in specific is going to be one of the most unique is just because it's a lot of entire parts that have been removed. Like, entire parts. Like, let's just go back to Gauss Prime for a second. He's back up here. I have... Okay. What about D? Okay, D works. So Gauss Prime has completely different shoulders, I believe. Yeah, completely different shoulders from Gauss Prime. Well, not completely. I guess they are just added on top. We can see it like this. So you can see all the differences between Prime and not Prime. So all of those parts that get replaced get removed. Whereas, yeah, this is just... I take it back. This shoulder piece is just being added on top. This whole chest zone is being added on top. There's a lot of things that are just added on top, so there's no need to replace it. But this entire section gets replaced. All of his flaps get replaced. And yeah, so you'd have to find a Prime frame that has a lot of replacement. Like, just a lot of replacement from it and the base frame. To get a very weird version. Our most recent frame was Gaia. Gaia or Prime isn't that different, is she? Alright, so here's Gaia Prime. Base Gaia. Yeah, she's actually... You know? I think you could disable her skirt because it's its own entity. It has its own, physics, so you could probably just have a skirtless Gaia. I actually think I still have Geyer. I still have my base Geyer. So, if... You know what? If this video actually gets any traction, I will test it on Geyer by getting this $7 skin that I hate. I'll prime detail it, and we'll see if we can have a skirtless Geyer. But real quick, let me just think what else. Not that much else actually changes between Geyer and Geyer Prime. So I think other than that, we're good. But I'll do it. Go catch me on my Twitch, because that's where I don't use YouTube often. Mama Natsumi on Twitch. That is spelled Momma, and then Natsumi spelled Natsumi. I stream there pretty much every day of the week at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for Thursday. Thursday is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And sometimes I stream on weekends too. Sometimes I stream earlier on weekdays. I kind of just stream whenever I feel like streaming, on top of my set in stone 3 p.m. ESTs and 7 p.m. EST. I also have a Discord, so you can join that. You can find it in the bio of my Twitch. And yeah, have a good one.